on a very high level, what does legacy mean to you?
You know, I used to argue about this because I thought there was no such thing. Because I worked with Jack LaLanne. So I worked with Jack for 8 years. We sold juicers. We had one TV infomercial that grossed over $1 billion. It ran for 8 years in 80 countries. If I ask anyone under the age of 25, they have no idea who Jack LaLanne was. No idea. This man was on television for 35 years. This man has pictures with Marilyn Monroe and Johnny Carson, and he's Arnold Schwarzenegger's mentor. He literally started fitness, and no one knows who he is. So if Jack LaLanne doesn't have a legacy, you and I don't stand a chance. And I truly believe that on some level, that us fighting for a legacy is not the right thing to do. The legacy needs to be here while you're on earth. How many people can you impact? How profound is your life, and how happy are you? Because I do really, truly believe that about 10 minutes after you're gone, the only people who care about you after the people look on Facebook is the people who loved you, whose lives you touched.
For a lot of people, there's a difference between a personal legacy and a business legacy. Are they the same for you, or are they intertwined? Or
No, you can build, we're still dealing with companies that are hundreds of years old. We still mention names like Vanderbilt and Carnegie, and we drive Fords long after he's dead. I'm going to tell you, it's the top 1% of 1% of 1% from Apple. People remember Steve Jobs forever because we use his product. But that is such a small thing to be looking at. I don't think Tony Robbins will have a legacy long after he's gone, because he will no longer be teaching. And a lot of his teachings, he's got books and it's great. And people will write, he was also on television and a couple of movies. They'll remember him. But short of him as a coach, how many coaches are you going to remember? So I just don't think that people, this is me, focus on the here and now. Focus on who you touch and what you do, because that is your legacy. Your legacy is how many people you help, you impact, and how happy you are in this life. I have a new book coming out called Pitch Secrets A to Z, and it's a lot of the stories that I love telling, and very helpful for people that'll be launching a little later this year. Very excited about that. That is part of the legacy. That is part of outside of me and living beyond that. There is a thing that's happening now with Amazon Live and TikTok Live, and people are selling all over the place. I do not think I'm going to jump on that bandwagon, because that's a young person's game. I spent 30 years doing home shopping. I was very well produced, and it was beautiful and fun, and I made a lot of money doing that. Beyond that, I've got a bunch of movies coming out. I still love being an actress. I have an action-packed Western. I have a documentary that I'm just got asked to do. And I'm just going to enjoy the ride, because I am 65 years old. And I don't know about how you feel, but there's a little bit of a tick-tock. When you were in your early 30s, 40s going, there's a little time thing about having a child. And now there's, how much fun can I have? How can I enjoy it? I mean, I'm in love with my second husband, and I'm having the time of my life. When people say, Forbes, what do you want? What's your future look like? What is your 5 years? I'm like, my 5 years is to wake up with this man every morning and still be healthy enough to enjoy it. He is a bodybuilder. I have no desire to be a bodybuilder. But then something happened last year. He said, there's a bodybuilding competition in our hometown. And I said, you know what? I'm 64 years old, but you know what? I'm going to go for it. And I did. And I ended up on stage, and I ended up with a medal, and I ended up with the next chapter of Forbes Riley's life.